Hello out there in the land, it's me again, the lazy video gamer, and yes, in the last episode I took a look at the 3D fighting games for the Sega Saturn, and I said it and I'll do it, of course. I'll take in this episode a look at the 2D fighting games that I own, and I start with a game who is based on an arcade game, who is based on a movie, who is based on a video game. So let's jump right into it. I'm just a lazy video gamer, even too lazy to make a new intro. Yeah, the last movie that Raul Julia played in was also one of the first video game adaptations for the cinema, with stars like Jean-Claude Van Damme and even Kylie Minogue, who was acting in this movie. A lot of unknown actors. An attempt to get to the wallet of us gamers. Well, back in the day, the movie, it was called Trash. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but it was something. And also, the game wasn't trash, if I'll be honest. It was something. You can play the movie battle where you're playing as Colonel Guy. I never was a big fan of Guy, so I don't know any special moves, or they just didn't worked out that well when I played it for this footage. But in the main core of the game, all or the most characters from Street Fighter 2 were in it, and also an additional character who wasn't in the arcade game is Captain Savada, was now playable. When it comes to the gameplay itself, it's solid. A mixture, yeah, between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat in the graphical department, if you want to call it or say it in that way. Some backgrounds are traced in the color, and some were pretty cool. Now, Street Fighter Zero was the first game after the Super counterparts, and told us the story before Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 1 happened, or maybe between. Okay, back to the game. Pretty drawn graphics, not the biggest character roster, but it was the right step in the right direction of the franchise. Street Fighter Alpha 2 or Street Fighter Zero 2, one of my favorites from the era back then. A lot of characters, cool additions from the Street Fighter and the Final Fight universe, a great playability, cool sounds, So I can say it is, in fact, a cool sequel and a very good home conversation that you on the Saturn. Also featured the Super Combos, who was first introduced in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. But now to the King's Discipline, Street Fighter Alpha 3. I don't have this game physically. Why? It's simple. It was only released in Japan and nowadays pretty expensive.
Street Fighter 03.
An even bigger roster of characters to choose from, and yeah, great gameplay, supreme backgrounds and sounds. All in all, maybe the best home port of the franchise in the era back then.
Beat 'em up, guys! Climb or
Now, what I got back in the day was the today's that expensive Street Fighter collection. Contains a variation of Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on 2 discs. When it comes to the game, it is Street Fighter like you knew back in the day. Very colorful, every move fits perfect, a great sound, and a lot of fun to play. Now, X-Men Children of the Atom was a step in another direction, or let me say in another franchise. A couple of model characters who fighting in Street Fighter behavior against each other. Of course, Capcom, the money printer, equipped this game also with great gameplay, nice backgrounds, and cool audio. When I'll be honest, I have it in my collection, but I'm not especially a fan of it. What I like more is X-Men vs Street Fighter. That for two reasons. First reason, it was the first game that I owned back in the day who used the 4 megabyte RAM coverage to reduce loading times. So colorful. A cool selection of characters. And here, once again, that Capcom gameplay engine helped this game to bring us the right feel. You could change your characters in between the matches to get a little advantage. Did I mention it that it has great and colorful backgrounds? Now, another game who used the RAM cartridge. I'm pretty sure now I don't have to tell you the name, because fans of this franchise know what already is coming to the screen. Samurai Shodown Part 4. The weapon-based samurai brawler is something unique. Not only in the graphical department, also, of course, on the sound and the presentation. Now again, you don't need a RAM cartridge. It's just, I thought I showed this, weapons, and now movies. Street Fighter X is a Street Fighter 2 knockoff par excellence. It's not the best game when it comes to the graphical presentation of the game itself, but these animated story sequences for every character was something different, something new. I also featured this game in my video game special about erotic video games, but I think I mentioned this game once again. After all, it is a fighting game.
舐めたらいかんせよ。水上静香、高知出身の20歳、ヤギ座の AB 型、競馬が趣味の理科教師です。
In the game itself, it is a fighting game with special moves, nothing special or unexpected, and with learning, I'm pretty sure you can have some fun as well. Now this game, real about Fatal Fury, I don't have to talk too much if you're already familiar or a fan of the franchise. It came as a double pack with 2 games in one case, and it is Fatal Fury. So it's not a surprise that this game I show you is also known as Real Bout Fatal Fury Best Collection. It contains Real Bout Special and also the final battle, Geese Howard Must Go. What you see here now is the first disc. What? Yeah. Both games are great in presentation, gameplay, and of course music. And this game is really, in my opinion, as in case masterpiece on the Saturn. It comes with an own RAM cartridge, and you need this one because on this RAM cartridge are the characters, the data for the characters. if you don't put this RAM in, you only get a blurry mess. What you get when you have it correct in your Saturn is a wonderful drawn and presented beat 'em up game with a lot of characters, fantastic music, great backgrounds, cool special moves. It is just not less than King of Fighters in perfection. And of course, when I'm saying King of Fighters, containing my now, for maybe the reason that you are such a big Street Fighter fan, here is something more. Street Fighter 2 interactive movie. Back in the day, we are here in Europe, became a fresh breeze, and animes weren't that popular like nowadays, but Street Fighter 2 was brought not only the fans of the game in form of an animated series and movie some justice, it also was in Japan released as playable movie. Nowadays you can find on the PlayStation 2 the anniversary Street Fighter 2 edition with a big, let me say, blurb on the cover art who is written on that it contains the movie. The entire movie to watch in English translation. Back in the day I had the VHS, Japanese spoken with German subtitles. So yeah, but now back to this, cause it is still on the game console and you don't need an MP card. I just also want to mention it is a game. In the movie and in the story, those cyborgs were everywhere, at every corner, and tried to collecting information about the Street Fighters. And yeah, that is what you can do in this thing, and almost only that. Scanning and learning against your opponent, cause you can watch this thing as movie or playing it like you see here now, cause you have at the end of the story a real battle, only one. And it depends how much data you collected, how good your cyborg is. besides that,
お前は拳の先に何を
It
見て
is-
いるのだ
yeah, a possibility to watch a re-edit movie on your Saturn without an MPEG card. I found it for a decent price, but I also saw higher offers. So you had to be a big Street Fighter 2 fan or Saturn fan to think nowadays about a purchase.
よしそれまで一休みしろ
But in my case,
朝飯を食う前に谷へ
it's
水
a cool
汲みに行くぞ
item
はい
for my beloved Saturn.
この野郎なんでもっと撃ってこねんだよ手加減してんのかお前オラオラオラオラオラオラオラ
バカ野郎手加減なんかするわけねえだろ
お前ってやつは本当にわからねえやつだなほらふやまあいいかいつか俺とお前が本気で戦わなきゃならない時がやってくるだろうからな
So, those were all the games that I want to show you in this episode of the Lazy Video Gamer Show. And when I coming to the games with the RAM cartridge expansion, back in the day there were several RAM cartridges out, 2 megabytes and 4 megabytes, and yeah, nowadays it's a little bit harder to find complete in box, of course, but you can do what the best move in chess would be, and buying the action replay for plus. Why? Because this is the original from back in the day. Nowadays there are some other devices out there who practically doing the same thing. But you have a lot of memory on this cartridge for use. You can cheat and you have the full compatibility for all the games who use this RAM expansion. And of course I also want to mention the King of Fighters 95, where you have to look that you have the right game on your console region. Of course the Japanese game is a lot cheaper, and a console who is modded would run both variants. But if you only have a PAL console, yeah, you are a little bit in a bad position, because the game isn't cheap. And yeah, but let that be the final words for today. Have fun with your games and have a fantastic rest of Sunday and a great week.